While I was applying to UCLA, my family and I were homeless, and it was during the Great Recession. We lost our home a week shy of Thanksgiving. We motel hopped, and then when my dad's credit ran out, we lived in an emergency winter shelter. So this is during my junior year of high school. When families have to prioritize education or survival naturally usually wins out. My dad 100% believed that I was going to college, and if I wanted to shoot for the biggest flagship outside our backyard, I was going to go. My admissions letter to UCLA came while my dad and I were still living at the shelter. UCLA in so many ways was the first home I had, even before my dad and I finally secured housing. Being admitted into a four-year university, being able to build my career here, to make new friends, to get involved in a variety of different student groups, that is what UCLA for me embodied. UCLA meant that my opportunities were limitless and that impossible was just an opinion when I could be here. My UCLA experience would have been vastly different if I had never received the Ehrlich Scholarship. It's not just that I wouldn't have received a scholarship, I would have missed out on a broader range of ruined family opportunities and feeling like I belonged at UCLA and that there was a network here who wanted to help me and support me and whom I could return that favor to. Years later now, I was able to create a book, Scruffy and the Egg, based on the story that my dad and I would tell each other. When we think of kids' literature, we don't think of difficult, heavy topics like poverty and homelessness, but these are real experiences that kids go through. And to be able to continue to advocate for students and for families who are going through this and say that your narrative matters, not only validates my experience with my father and me, but also so many other families out there to be able to feel that they have a voice and that there is an effort to make this heard. If I had heard those words, and as I learned about School on Wheels, I would have felt more empowered sooner to reach out and make those inroads. And I would say that's the beauty of School on Wheels gets solved, because they are so vocal and they have a space in advocating for young people and kids who are experiencing this. Receiving the UCLA Award for Community Service, it's a tremendous honor. It is an award that does not belong to me strictly, because all of the community service I have input has been owed to many teams of other friends, people, colleagues who have welcomed me into their spaces to build a community that is caring and compassionate.
Good evening, alumni and friends. My name is Peter Taylor, UCLA class of 1980, and past president of the UCLA Alumni Association. It's a pleasure and a privilege to present the 2018 UCLA Award for Community Service this evening, a distinguished recognition for alums who have made significant contributions to the enrichment of others and the betterment of their community. I met Angela Sanchez 3 years ago when she came to my office for an informational interview at the ECMC Foundation, a national philanthropic organization focused on post-secondary education. At the time, we had just opened the foundation's doors here in Los Angeles, and we were looking for talent with drive and passion. I was struck by her intelligence, character, and a desire to make a difference in the neighborhoods and the communities, both here in Los Angeles and far beyond. So I did what any person with common sense would do. I offered her a job. Since then, I've had the privilege to work with and witness Angela's relentless dedication every day in the office and hear about her work in the communities outside of it. Author, illustrator, motivational speaker, and magician, Angela overcame extraordinary life circumstances to rise to become a leader here at UCLA and continuing now in the broader community. A very special double Bruin, Angela received her bachelor's degree in history and then returned for a Master of Education with an emphasis on student affairs. Among her many accolades, she was a recipient of the prestigious Ehrlich Scholarship and received the UCLA Chancellor's Service Award while an undergraduate. We're so pleased to be recognizing Angela tonight with the alumni counterpart of that award, the UCLA Award for Community Service. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming and congratulating Angela Sanchez.
Thank you, Peter, for that very kind introduction. As you can all tell, I'm extremely proud to work for this Bruin. I'm also honored and humbled to be sharing this space with you today, mostly because someone like me, a first generation and at the time low-income Latina, would not likely, actually would rather have a 12% chance of graduating with a college degree. My chances are probably even slimmer because for my last 2 years of high school, I was homeless. I was one of the 14,000 students living in Los Angeles who were experiencing homelessness. The Great Recession left me and my father without a place to stay. We motel hopped, stayed in cold winter shelters, and eventually landed in a family shelter. One of the things I learned most significantly at this time is when people hear the word homeless, they don't see children. Thanks to the enduring support of my dad, however, I was determined to make it to college, even if many of the basics, such as internet, a desk, good lighting, were not readily available to me. Mine is only one of the countless stories of students scrabbling to escape the exhausting, self-perpetuating cycle of poverty. School on Wheels was my game changer. Based right here in Los Angeles, School on Wheels, Inc. is a nonprofit dedicated to the academic support of K-12 students experiencing homelessness. Now, when I was a senior, I enrolled in AP Calculus, history major again. So I hit the wall hard and went to my School on Wheels coordinator to match me up with a tutor. School on Wheels delivered on this promise. They not only got me a tutor, they found me a graduate student in astrophysics from Caltech. I literally had a rocket scientist helping me with my math homework. And so, that being said, it's thanks to School on Wheels that I got to have this empowering experience of having a tutor, of having a community at a time when so many other kids in my position are so very vulnerable. As a student at UCLA, I experienced tremendous support from our wonderful alumni donors in the form of scholarship support. And building on my history, I also returned to School on Wheels as a volunteer, creating the first UCLA chapter, first university chapter of undergrad volunteers here. I am now proud to serve on the board of directors for School on Wheels, Inc., and be able to help advocate for more students whose shoes I was in not so long ago. Professionally, I work in the philanthropic sector with Peter, focus on college success and developing other types of post-secondary pathways towards social mobility. I'm fortunate to have risen to a point in my career where I can affect change on a larger scale. I haven't forgotten my roots either. Last year, as you saw, I wrote and illustrated a children's book called Scruffy and the Egg, based on a story that my dad and I invented to talk about our circumstances while homeless. Now, it's a picture book that allows families who are experiencing homelessness to see their circumstances represented in a way that is accessible to children. I share this book with schools, nonprofits, and of course, family shelters. It's because of others' community service that I am now in this position to serve my community. More so on that, we always talk about helping our students beat the odds when we should be changing the odds. Students should, thank you. Aspiring, hardworking students should not have to be lucky to go to college. We need more people like many of you in this room to believe in our talented young people whose resources and acumen are already being tapped. So, as UCLA's Alumni Association, I help kickstart our alumni mentoring program for our scholarship recipients. Now, School on Wheels, in addition, is also scaling its volunteer engagement in digital learning and other opportunities in the name of helping serve Southern California's homeless students. Opportunity to be involved abounds. So, do you have to save the world to make a difference? No. But especially as all of us Bruins know, it's the commitment and your optimism that do. Thank you.